I haven't been home yet. The engine is off. The windshield wipers stopped moving 3 minutes ago, maybe 4, and the rain has started to blur everything again. The streetlights, the pharmacy sign across the lot, the apartment building where Oliver and I live on the second floor. I can see our window from here. The light is on. Mrs. Kang, our neighbor, is with him. She'll have fed him dinner by now. She'll have let him talk about the Evergreen Point floating bridge for as long as he wanted, which is longer than most people can stand, and she won't have corrected him or tried to redirect him towards something more normal. She just listens. She's good that way. My hands are still on the steering wheel even though the car isn't moving. My scrubs are damp from walking through the parking garage earlier, and there's a coffee stain near my collar from some time around hour 11 of my shift. I worked a double. 16 hours. My feet hurt in that deep, bone-level way that means I'll feel it tomorrow too. I should go upstairs. I should relieve Mrs. Kang, thank her, pay her even though she always refuses. I should check Oliver's homework folder, make sure he brushed his teeth, read him the same 3 pages of the bridge engineering book he's been obsessed with for 2 months. But I'm still sitting here. Because I made the mistake of checking my phone. The family group chat, More Family, has 17 new messages. I didn't read them right away. I was going to wait until I got upstairs, until I had a glass of water and could sit down properly. But the preview caught my eye while I was scrolling past, and now the phone is face up on my lap, screen still glowing, and I've read the messages for times. Mom, just a heads up, Rebecca, we're keeping this year's Thanksgiving dinner adults only. Claire's fiancé's family will be there, and we want it to feel elegant. You understand. Claire, it's not personal. We just think Oliver might be more comfortable at home anyway. Less stimulation, you know? Dad, your mother's put a lot of work into this. Let's all be team players. Mom, you're still handling the pies though, right? And possibly the green bean casserole? Claire's been so stressed with wedding planning. I should feel something sharp. Anger, maybe. The kind that rises fast and makes you want to throw things. But I don't. What I feel is slow and cold and oddly clarifying, like the air pressure changing right before a storm. I look at the phone for a long time. Then I look at the window again, at the warm light where my son is safe and probably happy, talking to someone who doesn't find him inconvenient. And I think, how long has it been like this? I don't remember a time when I wasn't responsible. Even as a child, I was the one who reminded my mother about doctor's appointments, who made sure Claire had her permission slip signed, who kept track of when the bills were due. My father used to call me his little manager, which I thought was a compliment. I thought it meant I mattered. When Claire was in high school and got caught drunk at a party, I was the one who picked her up. I was 20, home from nursing school for the weekend. She threw up in my car and cried about how Mom and Dad would kill her, and I cleaned the upholstery in the driveway at 2 in the morning and never told anyone. She never thanked me. I don't think it occurred to her that she should. When my father lost his job the year I graduated, I paid their mortgage for 4 months. I was 24 and barely making enough to cover my own rent, but I sent the checks anyway because my mother said they'd lose the house, and I couldn't imagine being the kind of daughter who let that happen. They didn't lose the house. My father found new work. No one ever paid me back. When I brought it up once, years later, my mother looked confused, like she genuinely didn't remember, and said, "Oh well, that's what family does, Rebecca." I got married at 28. His name was Aaron. He was a software engineer, stable and kind and a little boring, which felt safe. We had Oliver a year later, and for a while, I thought I'd built something separate, something mine. But the pregnancy was hard. Oliver came 5 weeks early and spent 12 days in the NICU, and I was trying to recover and pump every 2 hours and hold myself together. And my mother spent most of her visits talking about Claire's new job, Claire's new apartment, Claire's chances of meeting someone soon. When Oliver was diagnosed at 3, my mother cried, not because she was sad for him, but because she was worried about what people would think. She asked if we were sure. She asked if we'd gotten a second opinion. She suggested that maybe he just needed more discipline, more structure, more time with typically developing children, as if autism were a behavior problem we could train out of him. Aaron left when Oliver was 4. He didn't say it was because of the autism. He said we'd grown apart. But I knew. I knew because he used to flinch when Oliver stimmed in public, used to get tense and snappy when Oliver had a meltdown in the grocery store. He never said the word, but I could feel it underneath everything: embarrassment. So it was just the 2 of us after that. And my family stepped in. Which sounds like a good thing. It sounds like support. But here's what it actually looked like. My mother volunteering me to host Christmas Eve dinner because you're so organized, Rebecca, and Claire's apartment is too small. Me cooking for 15 people, cleaning for 2 days beforehand, and spending the entire night in the kitchen while everyone else drank wine in the living room. Claire gave me a candle as a thank you gift. I'm allergic to strong scents. My father calling to ask if I could co-sign a car loan for Claire because her credit wasn't great and you've always been so responsible with money. I co-signed. She missed 3 payments. My credit score dropped 40 points. My mother asking if I could pick her up from the airport at 6 in the morning after her cruise because your father has a golf game and Claire has that work thing. I was coming off a night shift. I didn't sleep. Claire needing a bridesmaid dress budget of $800 because it's my wedding. Becker, please, you know I do the same for you. I don't know that. I've never tested it. And Oliver. God, the way they are with Oliver. They don't say anything outright. They're not cruel. But it's in the small things. The way my mother tenses when he starts talking about bridges. The way she redirects him, brightly, aggressively, towards something else. Why don't you go play with your tablet, sweetie? As if his interests are something to be managed. The way my father avoids eye contact with him, talks to me instead, even when Oliver is the one asking the question. The way Claire, just last month, said she wasn't sure if Oliver should be a ring bearer in her wedding because of what if he gets overwhelmed and makes a scene? I said he wouldn't. I said he'd be fine if we prepared him, if we did a rehearsal, if we let him know what to expect. She said, maybe it's better if he just sits with you. And I said okay. Because that's what I do. I say okay. I sit in the car until my phone screen goes dark. Then I pick it up and read the messages again. Adults only. Oliver might be more comfortable at home. You're still handling the pies though, right? I open my banking app. I don't know why. Maybe because numbers are concrete. Maybe because I need to see something clearly. I scroll back through 6 months of transactions. Venmo to Claire, $250. For the bridal shower venue, you're the best. Venmo to Claire, $120. Bridesmaid brunch, thank you. Venmo to my mother, $300. For Dad's birthday dinner. Venmo to Claire, $180. Dress alterations, I love you. Check to my parents, $500. For the roof repair. I stop scrolling. I do the math in my head. Then I do it again, slower, to make sure. In 6 months, I have given my family over $2,000. I have also worked over 100 hours of overtime to cover Oliver's therapy co-pays, because our insurance only covers 20 sessions a year and he needs twice that. I've been putting off replacing my car's front tires for 3 months because I can't afford it yet. I buy my scrubs second-hand. I haven't had a haircut since April. And I just got uninvited from Thanksgiving. But I'm still expected to bake the pies. I sit there, staring at the numbers, and something in my chest cracks open. Not rage. Not yet. Just a vast, echoey sense of oh, this is what I am to them. Upstairs, Mrs. Kang is washing dishes when I walk in. Oliver is at the kitchen table, working on a drawing of the I-90 floating bridge, his tongue poking out in concentration. He doesn't look up. He's in the zone. I don't interrupt. Mrs. King dries her hands and smiles at me, and it's the kind of smile that doesn't ask for anything. Long day. Double shift. I made extra japchae. It's in the fridge. She nods toward a glass container on the second shelf, enough for 2 meals at least. Oliver ate well. I feel something tighten in my throat. You don't have to. I know. She pats my arm. But I like to. After she leaves, I sit on the couch and watch Oliver draw. He's using a ruler to get the lines exactly right, muttering measurements under his breath. His hair is sticking up in the back. He needs a haircut too, but he hates the sound of the clippers, so we've been putting it off. I'll trim it myself this weekend, slowly, with scissors, while he watches bridge construction videos on my phone. He looks up suddenly, as if he's just remembered I'm there. Mom, did you know the Evergreen Point floating bridge is the longest floating bridge in the world? It's 7,710 feet long. I did know that, I say. You told me. It's supported by 77 pontoons. They're anchored to the lake bed with cables. That's amazing. He looks back at his drawing, satisfied. It is. I watch him for a few more minutes. Then I say, Oliver. He doesn't look up. That's okay. I know he's listening. How would you feel about just you and me doing Thanksgiving this year? Maybe we could go somewhere. Like a trip. Now he looks up. His face is serious. Where? I don't know yet. Maybe the coast. Or the mountains. Somewhere different. He considers this. Would there be bridges? Probably. Okay. He goes back to his drawing. Then, quieter, are we not going to Grandma's? No. Okay. He doesn't ask why. He doesn't seem surprised. And that breaks something in me, because I realize he already knows. He already knows they don't want him there. He's 7 years old and has already learned that some people find him inconvenient. I wait until he's asleep that night, and then I go into the kitchen and open my laptop. I start pulling up old messages. Old emails. Texts. I screenshot the Venmo requests. I make a folder. I don't know why, exactly. I just know I need to see it all in one place. I need to map the shape of this thing. It takes 2 hours. When I'm done, I sit back and stare at the screen. There are 63 instances in the past year where I was asked to provide money, labor, time, or emotional support. There are 4 instances where I was offered the same in return. 2 of those were from Claire, and both were hypothetical. If you ever need anything, just ask. I never asked. I knew better. I close the laptop. I don't cry. I just sit there in the dark, listening to the rain against the window, and feel the full weight of my own absence. Because that's what this is. I've been absent from my own life. I've been so busy serving everyone else that I never stopped to ask if I was even in the room. I don't answer the next round of messages. Mom, Rebecca, can you confirm on the pies? I need to know for planning purposes. Claire, Becca. Hello. Dad, your mother's waiting to hear from you. I put my phone face down on the counter and make dinner. I help Oliver with his math homework. I read him his bridge book. I go to bed. The next day, I work another 12-hour shift. My phone buzzes periodically. I don't check it until my break. Mom, this is really unlike you. Is everything okay? Claire, are you mad or something? Dad, let's not make this bigger than it needs to be. Just call your mother. I don't call. That evening, I get a text from Claire's fiancé, whom I've met twice. James, hey Rebecca, Claire's worried about you. Can you give her a call when you get a chance? I stare at that one for a long time. Then I block his number. On the third day, my mother shows up at the hospital. I'm at the nurse's station, charting meds, when I see her walking down the hallway in her cream-colored coat and her pearl earrings. She looks composed. She always looks composed. She smiles at one of the other nurses as she passes, and I realize with a sinking feeling that she's going to do this here, in front of everyone. Rebecca. Her voice is warm, concerned. Public-facing. Sweetheart, I've been trying to reach you. I don't stand up. I keep my hands on the keyboard. I've been working. I know, honey, but this is important. We need to finalize Thanksgiving. One of my coworkers, Denise, glances over. I can feel her attention, and my mother knows it too. That's why she's here. Because I can't make a scene at work. Because she thinks I'll fold. I'm not coming to Thanksgiving, I say quietly. My mother's smile doesn't change. Don't be silly. I'm not being silly. Oliver and I aren't coming. Rebecca. Her voice drops, just slightly, into something harder. We've been planning this for weeks. Claire's in-laws are coming. Your father's looking forward to it. Then I hope you all have a nice time. You're being incredibly selfish right now. The words land like a slap, but I don't flinch. I look at her, really look at her, and I see it clearly for the first time. She doesn't know me. She's never tried. I'm just a role she cast me in 35 years ago, and she's angry that I'm breaking character. I need to get back to work, I say. Rebecca. Denise is standing now, her voice polite but firm. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. This is a restricted area. My mother looks at Denise like she's just noticed her for the first time. Then she looks back at me, and her face does something complicated. Confusion. Hurt. And underneath it, just for a second, rage. We'll talk about this later, she says. But we don't. Denise doesn't ask me about it directly. She just brings me a coffee an hour later and says, a family, here? Yeah. My mom used to pull that stuff too. Showing up at my work, making me look like the bad guy. She takes a sip of her own coffee. I had to cut her off for 2 years before she started acting right. I look at her. 2 years? Yep. Best thing I ever did. She shrugs. Some people don't respect you until you stop letting them work on you. Even then, some never do. I think about that for the rest of my shift. That night, I start looking into Thanksgiving travel. Nothing extravagant. Just something different. Somewhere Oliver and I can be without the weight of expectation pressing down on us. I find a small lodge on the Olympic Peninsula. It's near the water. The photos show a rocky beach, tide pools, and in the distance, the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. I book it before I can talk myself out of it. 2 nights. $300, which I can't really afford, but I book it anyway. I tell Oliver the next morning. He lights up in a way he hasn't in weeks. Can we see the bridge? We can see the bridge. The original one collapsed in 1940 because of aeroelastic flutter. I know, Bud. But the new one is stable. It was built in 1950. And then they added a second span in 2007. We'll check out both spans. He grins, and it's like watching sun break through clouds. I realize I haven't seen him smile like that in a while. Not around my family. Not in those tense, careful environments where everyone is always trying to make him smaller. The messages get worse. Mom, I can't believe you're doing this to us. To Claire. On her special year. Claire, you're being so dramatic. We were just trying to make things easier for you. Dad, your mother is very upset. I hope you're happy. Mom, if you're struggling, Rebecca, just say so. We can find someone to talk to. This isn't like you. That one almost makes me laugh. This isn't like you. As if they have any idea who I am. Claire calls me 12 times in one evening. I don't pick up. She leaves a voicemail. Becker, come on. You're really going to ruin Thanksgiving over this? Mom's a mess. She's saying she can't even enjoy planning anymore because you've made everything so tense. Just come, okay? Bring Oliver. We'll figure it out. He can sit in the other room or something if he gets overwhelmed. Just stop being like this. I delete it. At work, people start to notice I'm lighter. Not physically. I'm still exhausted. Still working doubles. Still running on 5 hours of sleep and too much caffeine. But something's shifted. Denise comments on it one afternoon while we're restocking supplies. You seem different. Different how? She tilts her head, considering. I don't know. Like you're here. I don't know how to explain that I'm finally stopping. That for the first time in my life, I'm not running toward the next obligation, the next expectation, the next way I can prove I'm worth keeping. But I think she gets it anyway. A week before Thanksgiving, my mother tries a different tactic. She sends a long email. It's calmer, more measured. She says she's been reflecting. She says she understands I'm under a lot of stress. She says parenting a special needs child is hard. She can't imagine how hard, and maybe I'm just burned out. She offers to pay for a weekend away. Just me. To recharge. She doesn't mention Oliver once after that first line. I read the email 3 times, looking for the part where she apologizes. Where she acknowledges what she said. What they've all said, and done, and expected. It's not there. Instead, she ends with, "We love you, Rebecca. We just want what's best for you. Please come home." I close my laptop. I think about what home has ever meant to them. And I realize, it's not a place. It's a position. It's me, standing in the kitchen, managing everything, making sure everyone else is comfortable. I don't respond. The Friday before Thanksgiving, Oliver's school counselor asks to speak with me. My first thought is panic. He's in trouble. Something happened. But her face is kind when I sit down across from her. Oliver's doing really well, as she says. I just wanted to check in with you. He mentioned you're going on a trip next week. Yeah. Just the two of us. She nods. He seems excited. He is. She's quiet for a moment, like she's deciding whether to say something. Then, he has also mentioned that he doesn't see your family much anymore. I tense. Did he say why? No. But he said it in a way that made it sound like he was relieved. She leans forward slightly. Ms. Moore, I don't know your situation. But I've been doing this job for 15 years, and I can tell when a child feels safer. Oliver feels safer. Something in my chest loosens. Thank you. You're doing the right thing, Ishi says. Whatever it is. On Thanksgiving morning, Oliver and I load our bags into the car. It's raining, of course. It's always raining in Seattle in November, but it feels appropriate. Like the world is soft and quiet and ours. We drive west, toward the peninsula, and Oliver talks the entire way about the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. I let him. I don't redirect, don't suggest he give it a rest. I just listen. The lodge is small and warm, with big windows that face the water. We check in, drop our bags, and immediately drive to the bridge. Oliver stands at the viewing area for 20 minutes, staring up at the span, at the cables, at the way the whole thing moves just slightly in the wind. He's not smiling, exactly. His face is serious, focused. But I can see the joy underneath it. The kind that doesn't need to perform. It's perfect, he says finally. Yeah, ere I say. It is. That night, we eat takeout on the floor of our room and watch a documentary about bridge engineering. Oliver falls asleep halfway through, his head against my shoulder. I stay awake for a long time, just sitting there, feeling the weight of him. Feeling the absence of guilt. My phone buzzes. I glance at it. Mom, I hope you're happy. You've ruined this holiday for everyone. I turn the phone face down and don't look at it again. The messages escalate over the weekend. Claire, Mom's in tears. Literally in tears. I hope you know that. Dad, this is beneath you, Rebecca. Mom, I don't know what we did to deserve this treatment. After everything we've done for you. I read that last one twice. After everything we've done for you. I open my laptop. I pull up the folder I made. Screenshots. Bank records. Messages. I scroll through it all again, slower this time, and I start drafting a response. It takes me 3 hours. I don't yell. I don't accuse. I just lay it out. Clearly. Factually. I list every financial request from the past 2 years, with dates and amounts. I list every instance where I provided childcare, transportation, event planning, or emotional labor without reciprocation. I list every time Oliver was excluded, dismissed, or made to feel unwelcome. I don't editorialize. I just let the pattern speak for itself. At the end, I write, I love you. But I don't think you see me. I don't think you've ever seen me as anything other than useful. And I can't keep teaching Oliver that love means making yourself small so other people can be comfortable. If you want a relationship with me, it will look different from now on. I won't host holidays I'm not invited to. I won't fund events I'm excluded from. I won't accept conditional love. If you can't respect that, I understand. But I need you to know, I'm not angry. I'm just done. I read it 4 times. Then I send it. I don't expect a response. Or I expect the wrong kind, defensive, dismissive, cruel. But 3 days later, my father calls. I almost don't answer. But something in me is curious. So I pick up. Rebecca. His voice is quiet. Tired. I read what you wrote. I wait. I don't. He stops. Starts again. I don't think I realized how much you were doing. How much we were asking. I still don't say anything. Your mother is upset. Claire too. They think you're being unfair. I know. But I don't think you are. He exhales, long and slow. I think I've been unfair. For a long time. It's not an apology. Not exactly. But it's the closest he's ever come. I don't know if things can be different, he says. But I'd like to try. Okay, I say. We can try. My mother doesn't call. Claire doesn't call. I don't chase them. But 2 weeks later, my father comes by the apartment. He brings a toy bridge kit for Oliver, the kind with tiny interlocking pieces and a manual full of engineering diagrams. It's expensive. Thoughtful. He stays for an hour. He asks Oliver about bridges. He listens. Really listens. And when Oliver shows him his drawings, my father doesn't redirect or rush him. He just nods and says, "You're really talented, kiddo." After he leaves, Oliver looks at me with wide eyes. Grandpa was nice today. Yeah, I say. He was. It's not fixed. Not all of it. My mother still doesn't understand. She sends short, curt texts now and then, "Hope you're well," but there's no real warmth in them. No acknowledgement. Claire has stopped reaching out entirely, and I don't know if that's temporary or permanent. Maybe it doesn't matter. But my father keeps showing up. Once a month, then twice. He takes Oliver to the Museum of Flight. He asks me how work is and actually waits for the answer. It's not perfect. But it's real. And Denise invites me to her family's Christmas dinner. It's chaotic, as she warns. Loud. My aunt drinks too much and my cousin's boyfriend is insufferable. But there's always room for one more. I go. Oliver comes with me. He spends most of the evening talking to Denise's nephew about subway systems, and no one minds. No one tells him to be quieter, or different, or less. Afterward, Denise hugs me at the door and says, "You're family now, you know that, right?" I didn't know. But I do now. It's March when I host my first dinner. Not a holiday. Not an obligation. Just a Saturday. I invite Denise. Mrs. Kang. Oliver's school counselor and her wife. My father, who asks if he can bring anything, and when I say no, he brings flowers anyway. We eat japchae and roast chicken and the apple pie I actually wanted to make, not the pumpkin pie everyone expects. Oliver sets up a slideshow of bridge photos and narrates the whole thing. People laugh, not at him, but with him, because he's genuinely funny when he's talking about something he loves. At one point, I look around the table, and I realize, this is it. This is the thing I've been looking for my whole life. Not approval. Not performance. Just presence. Mrs. King catches my eye and smiles, and I smile back. After everyone leaves, Oliver helps me clean up. He's chattering about the Aurora Bridge now, something about its construction in 1932. I let him talk. I always let him talk. "Mom," he says suddenly, stopping mid-sentence. Are we happy now? I look at him. At his serious face, his too long hair, his eyes that see everything. Yeah, bud, I say. I think we are. He nods, satisfied, and goes back to drying dishes. And I stand there in my small kitchen, in my second-hand scrubs, in the life I've built by subtraction rather than addition, and I feel something I haven't felt in years. I feel free. Not because I've won. Not because anyone apologized or changed or saw the error of their ways. But because I finally stopped waiting for permission to take up space. I stopped believing that love was something I had to earn by being useful. And I started building a table where everyone has a seat, including me.